Ladies and gentlemen, there is a fundamental principle in life that resonates with anyone who has ever dared to dream, to push beyond their comfort zone, and to embrace the unknown. This principle is both simple and profound. Before dismissing it as mere optimism or wishful thinking, let's break it down to reveal its wisdom, practicality, and transformative potential. Imagine waking up each day with an unshakable belief that regardless of what happens, unexpected turns, setbacks, or challenges, everything will ultimately work in your favor. This isn't just a comforting mantra, it's a mindset that reshapes your perspective, influences your actions, and changes how the world responds to you. When you adopt the belief that everything works out for you, you engage with life differently. You're no longer merely reacting to circumstances. You're proactively shaping your path. This shift in mindset moves you from hesitation and fear to confidence and decisive action. Consider the most successful individuals. What do they all have in common? It's not just talent, intelligence, or luck. It's a mindset, a deep-rooted belief that challenges are not obstacles but opportunities, that failures are not endpoints but redirections, and that in the end they will emerge stronger, wiser, and more prepared. So how can you adopt this perspective? It doesn't require dramatic overnight transformation, but rather small, consistent shifts in thought and action. It begins the moment you wake up. Instead of dwelling on doubts or yesterday's disappointments, you choose belief. You set the tone for the day by telling yourself it will be exceptional, not because it will be free of difficulties, but because you are capable of handling, learning from, and growing through them. Every situation you encounter presents a choice, a turning point in your journey. Every challenge presents a choice. You can either shrink back in fear of the unknown or step forward with trust, knowing you'll learn along the way. A wise mentor once said, "If you want to live a successful life, you must master the art of turning roadblocks into stepping stones." And he was right. Acting as if everything works out for you isn't about pretending to be invincible. It's about developing a mindset that turns obstacles into proof of your resilience. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't know exactly which will yield the best crop or what weather challenges may arise, but he plants with confidence, nurtures the soil, and trusts in the harvest. If he were to doubt every seed, question every forecast, or fear every storm, he'd never plant at all. In the same way, embracing this mindset is like planting seeds in your life. With effort, patience, and persistence, your harvest will come. Here's something to consider. When you expect things to work out, your mind becomes skilled at identifying opportunities and solutions where others only see problems. This isn't wishful thinking, it's psychology. Your focus directs your awareness. If you enter a room expecting hostility, you'll notice scowls and whispers. But if you walk in expecting warmth, ready to share and receive positivity, you'll recognize smiles, open doors, and welcoming gestures. The world mirrors what you project. This belief is also deeply tied to confidence. Confidence isn't just a personality trait, it's a habit of thought built each time you choose to respond rather than retreat. When faced with a challenge, tell yourself, "I can handle this, and even if I don't know how yet, I will learn." This small shift transforms anxiety into anticipation, allowing you to think creatively, ask better questions, and seek solutions. I remember early in my career facing a significant financial setback. It would have been easy to sink into despair, to label myself a failure, and to abandon my ambitions. But I reminded myself of this principle. Instead of dwelling on defeat, I asked, what can I learn from this? How can this setback set me up for future success? It wasn't easy, but it was simple. That mindset shift didn't just help me overcome that moment, it became a tool for navigating every challenge that followed. I no longer saw myself as a victim of circumstance, but as a student of life, constantly learning, adapting, and growing. Even when things go wrong, especially when they do, there's power in believing they will eventually turn in your favor. It's like navigating with a compass instead of a map. A map provides a clear route, but life rarely offers that kind of certainty. A compass, however, keeps you moving in the right direction. There will be detours, obstacles, and rough patches, but if you continue forward with the belief that better outcomes are ahead, you will find your way. Think about it. Life isn't meant to be a flawless path. It's a journey of growth, learning, and becoming. When you act as if everything works out, you begin to find joy not just in the results, but in the process itself. You learn to celebrate perseverance and progress, not just achievement. With this mindset, failures don't diminish you, they refine you. Each setback adds another layer of experience, another chapter in your story of resilience and triumph. And here's something interesting. People notice. They may not be able to explain it, but they'll sense something different about you. They'll see that you don't panic in uncertainty, that you don't crumble when things don't go as planned. You'll inspire trust, not just in yourself, but in those around you. You become a source of encouragement, a reminder that if you can keep going, so can others. You build relationships on a foundation of confidence and optimism, attracting people who share that energy and contribute to your momentum. It's important to understand that this mindset isn't about ignoring hardships, quite the opposite. It's about acknowledging them, facing them, and choosing to see them as temporary. The rain doesn't last forever, the storm doesn't rage endlessly, and after every storm, there's a clearing. Acting as if everything always works out means holding on for that clearing, moving forward step by step, trusting that it's coming. Some might ask, isn't this just being naive? To them, I ask, what's the alternative? If you expect everything to fall apart, if you assume the worst is inevitable, what do you gain? You might avoid disappointment, but you'll also shut the door on hope, creativity, and joy. You'll miss out on the power of perseverance, the hidden strength that only appears when you choose to believe that things can turn around. Our minds are powerful tools shaping how we interpret and respond to life. When you enter a challenge expecting a lesson, you'll find one. When you encounter an obstacle expecting an opportunity to grow, it reveals itself. This isn't just a comforting idea. It's backed by countless stories of those who achieve success not in spite of their difficulties, but because of how they handled them. They saw each setback as a step toward their next breakthrough. The habit of expecting good outcomes rewires your brain. It pushes you to act boldly, take risks that align with your vision, and persist when others would quit. That doesn't mean you'll always get exactly what you want, but you will receive what you need to grow. And often what you gain is even greater than what you originally set out for. Imagine someone climbing a mountain. The peak represents the goal, the dream, but every slip, every wrong turn, every pause to catch their breath is part of the journey. When you act as if everything always works out, your focus shifts from just reaching the top to appreciating what each step teaches you. The view from the summit is rewarding, but the real strength comes from the climb. There's something magnetic about this belief. People are drawn to those who live with conviction, who carry an unshakable assurance that things will work out. It's as if they're tuned into a different frequency, and that energy becomes contagious. Suddenly others want to be part of your journey. They start to believe that if things can work out for you, maybe they can for them too. This creates a ripple effect, spreading courage, possibility, and resilience. Challenges, failures, and disappointments are woven into every success story. What sets people apart isn't the ability to avoid difficulties, but how they respond to them. Acting as if everything works out doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means facing it with hope and a willingness to adapt. You become less fearful of the unknown, more willing to step forward even when the path isn't clear. When you embrace this mindset, you'll notice a shift. The challenges that once overwhelmed you become manageable. Your inner dialogue changes from what if I fail to what can I learn if I do. You start viewing life as a series of experiments rather than a test where every mistake defines you. This perspective is freeing. It replaces the pressure of perfection with the excitement of exploration and growth. And this approach isn't just for life's big moments, it's for the everyday. The next time you face a tough decision, remind yourself, I'll make the best choice I can, and no matter the outcome, it will work out for me. This mindset doesn't absolve you of responsibility, it empowers you to act decisively, knowing that you have the strength and creativity to handle whatever comes next. But here's the paradox. When you act as if everything always works out, more things actually do. This isn't magic, it's focus and energy and action. It's your subconscious mind seeking out the paths, people, and opportunities that align with your belief. When you expect positive outcomes, you're more likely to take the necessary steps to create them. You become more resilient when things go sideways, quicker to pivot when needed, and more attuned to opportunities that others might overlook. Years ago, a young man attended one of my seminars. He dreamed of starting a business, but was paralyzed by the fear of failure. I asked him, what's the worst that could happen? He replied, I could lose everything. Then I asked, and if you did, could you rebuild? He paused, thought about it, and said, yes, I could. That's when he realized that failure wasn't final. He needed to trust that no matter what happened, he could learn from it and move forward. He launched his business with that mindset, facing plenty of setbacks along the way, but he stayed resilient, learning from each misstep. That's the gift of believing that everything will work out. It changes how you play the game. You stop playing not to lose and start playing to win. You take bolder swings knowing that even if you miss, you'll adjust, recalibrate, and try again. Life becomes an adventure, not just a checklist. When you act as if everything works out for you, you cultivate a mindset of abundance. You shift from dwelling on what could go wrong to recognizing all the ways things might go right. This isn't blind optimism, it's training your mind to see possibilities that others overlook. Because when your default response to challenges becomes, how can this work in my favor? You start finding answers. When you act as if everything always works out, you engage with life in a way that energizes you and propels you forward. This mindset shifts the language of your inner dialogue. Instead of thinking, I don't know if I can do this, you start thinking, I don't know how yet, but I'll figure it out. This subtle change does something remarkable. It opens doors that doubt would have kept shut. You become more willing to step into the unknown, initiate conversations, and pursue opportunities that once seemed intimidating. You start to see rejection differently, not as a verdict on your worth, but as part of your journey towards something even better. Think about the best NBA players. They don't win every game or make every shot, but they play as if they can. Their confidence doesn't come from a guarantee of success in every moment, but from knowing that their training, resilience, and willingness to keep pushing will ultimately lead to victory. The same principle applies to life. You won't win every battle, but when you act as if everything works out for you, you become the person who doesn't stay down after a loss. You pick up the lessons, find the growth, and come back stronger. Opportunities favor those who step into them with the belief that they are worth pursuing. Approaching life with this mindset doesn't mean the path will always be clear. It means you'll move forward even when the road is uncertain, trusting that clarity comes with action, taking the first step, making the initial move. These are acts of courage that reinforce your belief. Each time you do this, you build a reservoir of confidence that makes the next challenge less daunting. But what about the moments when it feels like things aren't working out? Life isn't a straight line. There will be days of doubt, moments when things don't go as planned. In those times, remind yourself, setbacks aren't signs to stop. They're signals to pause, adjust, and keep going. You may not see the full picture now, but over time, patterns emerge. The twists and turns, the moments that once felt like misfortune often become the very experiences that shape you, prepare you, and propel you forward. Think about the stories you tell yourself. If you constantly reinforce the belief that life is hard, that you never get what you want, your mind will search for evidence to confirm that narrative. But if you start telling yourself that you are capable, that things have a way of working out for you, you'll begin to notice different outcomes. Acting as if things will work out primes your mind to seek solutions, spot opportunities, and make the best of any situation. This isn't about ignoring problems or dismissing pain. It's about choosing to frame your experiences in a way that empowers you. When life throws you a curveball, acting like it will work out doesn't mean pretending it didn't happen. It means facing it with the question, what can I do with this? This mindset transforms every challenge into an opportunity to learn and adapt. It shifts your focus from dwelling on what you can't control to taking action on what you can. And when you adopt this approach, you invite a certain calmness, a steadiness that others will notice. In stressful situations, you become the person people look to for reassurance. Your belief that things will be okay becomes a source of strength, not just for yourself, but for those around you. This confidence radiates outward, creating a ripple effect. People begin to see you as a leader, someone who navigates uncertainty with grace and conviction. You become a lighthouse, steady, unfazed by the turbulent seas around you. And think about the momentum this creates. When you act as if everything works out, you build momentum not just through successes, but through persistence. Each time you respond to a setback with the belief that it will work out, you're adding to that momentum. It's like pushing a flywheel. Every effort compounds, making the next push even easier. At first, it takes effort. You may not see much movement, but with consistent action, the wheel starts to turn more easily, gaining momentum. Your belief becomes a self-sustaining cycle that propels you forward, making each new challenge a little easier to face. People who embrace this mindset aren't naive enough to think life will always go as planned. Instead, they remain adaptable. They develop the inner flexibility to adjust their approach when needed. If one path closes, they don't stop, they look for another. They trust that if one door doesn't open, it's because a better one is waiting just ahead. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a practical approach that ensures forward movement no matter the circumstances. There's something powerful about resilience that comes from this belief. It doesn't mean you won't feel the weight of difficult times, but it does mean you won't let them define you. You acknowledge the struggle, allow yourself to process it, but then remind yourself, this isn't the end, it's just a chapter. You hold the pen, you decide what comes next. This mindset also strengthens relationships. When you act as if everything works out, you become less reactive and more responsive. You approach conversations and conflicts with balance, not jumping to conclusions or becoming defensive. Deep down, you trust that even disagreements can lead to greater understanding and better outcomes. This makes you a stronger friend, partner, and leader. People are drawn to those who see potential where others see problems. Acting as if everything works out doesn't just influence the big moments in life, it transforms the everyday. It changes how you show up at work, how you connect with family, how you pursue your passions. It reshapes your entire approach to life, making it richer and more fulfilling. Instead of fearing the unknown, you begin to welcome it, an opportunity to grow, expand your capabilities, and discover just how far you can go. Over time, this mindset becomes second nature. The doubts that once shouted in your mind become nothing more than whispers. The fears that once held you back become manageable. You may still feel nervous about a new venture, but you won't let that stop you from trying. You'll hear that voice of uncertainty, but it will be drowned out by a louder voice that says, "Go for it, you'll figure it out." When you act as if everything works out for you, opportunities will start to find you. When you embody this mindset, you become magnetic to possibilities that align with your beliefs and values. People naturally seek out those they can count on, those who can navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and composure. Your belief that things will work out becomes a signal. You're ready for challenges, willing to take calculated risks, and prepared to adapt. And that willingness often pays off in ways you never expected. This mindset also transforms your relationship with failure. Instead of being ashamed or paralyzed by setbacks, you use them as fuel. You analyze what went wrong, extract the lessons, and move forward with greater knowledge and experience. Failure stops being a verdict on your ability and starts being valuable feedback. Colonel Sanders was turned down more than 1,000 times when he tried to sell his fried chicken recipe. 1,000 times. Most people would have given up after the first 100, maybe even the first 10. But he treated every no as one more step toward a yes. That's what it means to act as if everything works out. For you, it means seeing rejection as redirection and failure as part of the process, not the final outcome. And this mindset doesn't just apply to career or finances, it touches every part of life. When you face health challenges, relationship struggles, or personal setbacks, this belief keeps you steady. It reminds you that healing, reconciliation, and growth are possible. It allows you to step back and see the bigger picture, not just the discomfort of the moment, but the lessons and potential breakthroughs ahead. Some might think acting as if everything works out means ignoring reality, but the truth is, it means embracing reality through a different lens. You face life head on, but with the unshakable knowing that no matter how dark things seem now, the sun will rise again. You learn to appreciate not only the good times, but also the resilience that hardships build within you. Challenges you overcome transform into the stories you share, the experiences that fortify you, and the wisdom you pass on to others. There's a profound sense of freedom in trusting that things will fall into place. It releases you from excessive worry and overthinking. Rather than obsessing over every possible negative outcome and burdening yourself with doubt, you learn to evaluate risks, make a choice, and trust in your ability to handle whatever follows. Your life expands when you're no longer confined by fear of what could go wrong, but driven by the possibilities of what could go right. Remind yourself regularly that adopting this mindset is a practice, not a one-time shift. Doubt will arise, and some days will feel overwhelming. In those moments, return to the basics, pause, take a deep breath, and ground yourself in what you know to be true. Reflect on past situations where things worked out, even when they seemed uncertain. Draw from those experiences to strengthen your confidence. Surround yourself with stories of resilience, of individuals who defied the odds and emerged stronger. Let their journey serve as proof that you can do the same. The best part of embracing this perspective is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't have to get everything right. You just have to keep going. It's okay to stumble, to have moments when your confidence wavers. What matters is that you return to your belief, that you recommit to viewing life as an adventure where every challenge holds the potential to lead to something greater. Each time you do, you strengthen the mindset that makes future obstacles easier to navigate. Living as if everything will work out empowers you to move through life with passion. You pursue your goals not because success is guaranteed, but because you trust that no matter the outcome, you will grow from the experience. Life rewards this kind of courage. The path may not always unfold as expected, but in time you'll realize that even detours were guiding you towards something meaningful. When you embrace this approach, you stop hesitating. You make the call, send the application, start the project, have the conversation. You take action on what ignites your spirit, not because you know exactly where it will lead, but because you trust that the journey itself will reveal the way. In doing so, you become more than you were before. You develop into someone who navigates life's uncertainties with grace, meets the unexpected with curiosity, and faces challenges with confidence. Acting as if everything works out is more than a mindset, it's a way of life. It's a commitment to showing up fully, engaging with both the highs and lows, and facing uncertainty with an open heart. It's a declaration that No matter what, you believe in your ability to rise, adapt, and thrive. And in the end, that belief, rooted in resilience and hope, is often what makes everything work out just as it should.